Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in the South and our online audience joining us worldwide, thanks to iHeartRadio. We're glad you all could be with us as well. As we're winding down the month of October, you guys know we've been bringing a lot of attention to different health issues during this month, including when it comes to cancer. One of those cancers, though, that definitely does not get the attention that it deserves is ovarian cancer. It is said to be one of those that is a cancer that whispers, as the warning signs of ovarian cancer aren't often detected early, and that means then that there is definitely not the survival rate that we would like to see when it comes to women who are impacted by it. But what can we do, not only, of course, when it comes to the issue of detection, but also, like with a lot of other things, there are racial disparities at play as well. Our next two guests are here to talk to us about it. We're excited to welcome Dr. Elena Ratner to our program, as well as Shantana Hazel, who's a health advocate and the founder of Sister Girl Foundation. We'll talk to the two of them not only about information you can use, but also where you can get more information. Thanks to the two of you for being on with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Cyrus, so much for having us.
Okay, the pleasure is definitely all mine. Dr. Ratner, I'm going to start with you. I mean, as I mentioned, of course, ovarian cancer does not always get the attention that it deserves. We're glad to have months like this where we're trying to shine a spotlight on the issues that are there. But what are some of the biggest obstacles, Dr. Ratner, when it comes to diagnosing ovarian cancer?
It is so wonderful, Cyrus, that you are giving us a platform, and it sounds like you give a platform on your program for this. The death rate of ovarian cancer remains unacceptably high. And what makes it even worse is that some of this is preventable. These cancers, unfortunately, continue not to be diagnosed early, and that's what's making a difference between life and death. As you said very correctly, we used to think that ovarian cancer is a cancer that whispers, that the symptoms are so vague, that there's just nothing you can do to detect it early. But we now know that's not the case. Women, even in the early stages of ovarian cancer, complain of bowel symptoms, bladder symptoms, weight gain, clothes not fitting well. And, of course, those are also symptoms that we normally experience that's due to hormones. The difference between the two is that the women who ended up having ovarian cancer had those symptoms every single day for a few weeks. So part of the solution to this is patient awareness and women awareness, to listen to your body, to know if something is not right, and when you know that, to find a provider and to demand the care that you deserve. And that brings me to the second limitation. Second limitation is that, unfortunately, the testing that we now have to try to detect ovarian cancer early is just not great. We do ultrasounds, we do a blood test called CA-125, but we have known for a long time that the blood test is really not a great blood test, that it has a lot of false positives, a lot of false negatives. But we now know that this blood test is particularly poor for women of color, and particularly for black women. And those are just some of the limitations in finding this cancer early.
I want to bring you into the conversation, Shantana. I noticed when I was prepping for this segment and looking into Sister Girl Foundation, I noticed even on your Twitter page, one of the things that you say there is ensuring that no woman suffers in silence. You've been able to advocate and to provide education for different types of issues, including, of course, ovarian cancer. So I want to ask you, Shantana, other than the disparities that Dr. Ratner just mentioned, I mean, are there other reasons why black women may not receive more accurate diagnosis or the treatment that they need?
Absolutely, Cyrus. The socioeconomic status and poor access that we have to care, that plays a major role in black women not receiving equal health care, the health care that we deserve and that we're demanding now. We're putting into place that our voices need to be heard, our complaints need to be taken seriously. A lot of times women, when you're going in with any signs and symptoms, especially of ovarian cancer, and they're not being heard. A lot of physicians, I'm very thankful and lucky to have had Dr. Ratner. She's a phenomenal physician who allows you to be a part of your care plan. And that's so important. And as an advocate for over 10 years, I teach women that. I teach them how to be a part of their care plan, how to use their voices to advocate. And that brings me to writing a couple of books and just teaching women, this is how you advocate. Let me give you several ways on how to do that and what it looks like to be a part of that care with your doctor. When you're going in for different diagnoses, especially ovarian cancer, you want to be a part of that care plan. And it's very vital and important to the growth and to the health and your well-being overall, your quality of life. And so it's very important not to suffer in silence. Thank you for paying attention to our Twitter page. And it's important not for us to suffer in silence and not to suffer alone. And this project is very, very near and dear to my heart. And I thank you for having us to be a part of this morning.
Well, glad to do it. Dr. Ratner, I'm going to go with you, and we're going to let our audience know, of course, how they can be able to get more information. But there was Shantana just talking about you and the work that you're doing. But definitely, I mean, you're not the only one. What do you suggest when it comes to everyday practicing physicians like yourself, Dr. Ratner, that they can do in confronting these racial disparities, especially when it comes to something as serious and sometimes often fatal as ovarian cancer?
So the most important thing is really just education and awareness. The awareness is on both sides. Awareness is on women and awareness is on providers. Providers need to know signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer. They need to know how to diagnose it, what to look for. But also, very importantly, we need to know about this racial disparity and what a difference it makes and how we can make a difference, how we can level this playing field. They need to know that the CA-125, which is a blood test, is not great in general, but really particularly not good for women of color. They need to know what other testing is available. They need to know that if women, especially black women, get better care, they do better. There's a lot of literature that the reason why black women don't do as well, especially women with low socioeconomic class, is because their surgeries are not done by the correct expertise surgeons. Their care is not done in the correct expertise care centers. So that's the key. The key is to be aware of it, to always be aware of it, to always look deeper, fight harder, never turn a patient away. If somebody tells you they do not feel right, you find a reason. You figure this out. You never say, this is just your hormones, it's just menopause. That is just not a thing. You got to fight, you got to know, and you got to provide them with the care that they need and they deserve.
And I think the two of you brought up something that I definitely want to reiterate for our audience. For one, of course, knowing that you don't have to suffer in silence, but also knowing that you have to make sure that you're your own best advocate as well. Make sure that you're being able to go out there to do the research and to find individuals like our two guests to be able to assist you along the way. Again, everyone, Dr. Elena Ratner and Shantana Hazel have been our guests, talking with us about the importance of not only this detection when it comes to ovarian cancer, but also, of course, why we need to be able to rethink when it comes to the issue of not only the detection, but also being able to treat as well. Dr. Ratner, how can our audience be able to find more information about the work that's being done?
So thankfully now there's more attention to this, and Aspira is one of the companies, Aspira Women's Health, that's doing a lot of research in patient awareness, in early detection, in providing us with better blood tests for all women, but in particularly blood tests that are better for women of color. So I would recommend to go on aspirawh.com to really educate yourself about signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer, about awareness, and what role racial disparity plays in this.
Okay, aspirawh.com. We'll link that for our audience online. And Shantana, can't let you go without letting our audience know, how can they find out more information about the work you're doing with Sister Girl?
Absolutely. On our website, it is sister-girl.org. We have a lot of information. It's jam-packed. It's a lot of resources, physicians, as Dr. Ratner was saying, she's actually on that list. Just a lot of resources to help us get along in our journey when we're battling breast cancer, ovarian cancer, or endometriosis, such as myself. And so you'll find a lot of information on that site. You'll find resources, physicians who specializes in those illnesses, and so you can have a better overall well-being and quality of life.
All right, and we'll make sure we link that up as well, sister-girl.org. Again, thanks to the two of you for the time. I really appreciate you and the work you're doing, and looking forward to having the two of you on the program again.
Thank you so much.
Hey, more than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.